big newsmaker, Dr. Subramanian Swamy, Rajya Sabha MP of the BJP, and the man who believes that his voice carries enough weight to ensure that policymakers and lawmakers never shy away from going back on whatever public position that they may have taken earlier. Dr. Swamy was the one who started talking about Sushant Singh Rajput's case, and look at where we are. So I actually spoke to Dr. Swamy in the morning today to make an appeal on behalf of all the students, requesting Dr. Swamy to just try and examine the situation from a neutral standpoint. So let me first ask you, Dr. Swamy, the press release which has just come out, which gives a position of where the government stands, basically makes this point that only 120 students so far have asked for a change of their examination centers. Do you think, Dr. Swamy, this positioning is enough for us to conclude that there is no case whatsoever for postponement of the JEE or Neet exams?
Well, look at the tweets that have come, 2 million within 2 hours when they heard this news. But I don't know where they are getting all this accounting. And I'm also, as I'm a professor, unlike other people who are in the decision-making council, I have been a professor for a long time. I know how students feel, and it's a question of their career. All they are asking is a postponement beyond Diwali. Now, what is the big thing? One channel with which you were associated before said a stupid thing like, the next batch will also be coming, there'll be double. What rubbish. The next batch that comes will come in the first year, not in the final year. So people who have no academic experience are saying all kinds of awful things. But I'll say that
sir, that's why, sir, on my present channel, sir, contrary to my previous organization, sir, I am sticking to what is actually agitating the minds of students. For 2 full days, Dr. Swamy, I kid you not, sir, my phone lines, our Twitter lines, our YouTube platforms have been bombarded with responses. And I'm telling you honestly, sir, a lot of viewers specifically called me to tell me that I must reach out to you, that I must use my good offices and make an appeal to you. So I made an appeal to you. I'm very happy that you've decided to take this issue up as a professor, sir, and as someone who himself actually fought against the IIT Delhi authorities when they had evicted you infamously many years back, and you won a case after a long fight, sir. Do you think the students have a valid case when they say that these exams should be postponed?
First of all, let me say that you did come, but you came almost at the last minute. I mean, I had just basically a few hours to do whatever I could. I spoke to the minister, I've written a letter to the Prime Minister, which I believe he has received. So I would say, yes, they have a solid case for postponement. Examination is an atmosphere. When students go there, there should be nothing on their mind. They should not go in the morning, will I get transport to reach? Well, in Bombay today, students are complaining to me, there is no public transport. That means we have to hire a taxi. And that means the demand for taxi will go up, therefore they will charge exorbitant fares which they can't afford. And already 20 suicides have taken place. These are young people, they see their futures crashing. How can you allow this? And I think the government will have to bear the responsibility. It will be difficult for us who are in the public domain. We are representing the party perhaps, but the party is not listening. There is no discussion in the party at all. It's a pure government decision. And therefore, I am saying that this is a thing where you are actually playing with the lives of a large number of young people who are the future for India. India has boasted about the young population as the demographic dividend. Is this the way you treat demographic dividend? Make them into mental cases? And let me tell you,
can I draw your attention, Dr. Swamy? You're a legal luminary yourself, sir, and who better than you? You know the law very well. Yeah, you know the law very well, Dr. Swamy. You know what? I was looking at the judgment, sir, which was passed by the 2-judge bench led by Justice Arun Mishra. And in that judgment, Justice Mishra basically said that we can't forever delay this exam because we don't want to play with the lives of students. Now, Dr. Swamy, I'm playing some pictures of what happened during the Karnataka combined entrance test, which was organized. Just take a look at this, sir. No social distancing, no masks. I mean, it's almost as if that this is a recipe for disaster. Do we believe the
Yes.
Solicitor General? How do we believe the Solicitor General, sir? How do we believe Tushar Mehta when he goes to the Supreme Court and he says, sir, everything is fine and I will look after all arrangements?
Listen, so Solicitor General speaks on behalf of the government. This is what the government told him to say. He would say it. It's not like the Attorney General who can take an independent stand. So I'm not going into that. I'm only saying this, that first of all, you had a lockdown. That time you didn't worry about all this. And you locked down with, 4 hours notice? And all the disruption that took place, all the horrible things that happened. But we said we have to do it to fight corona. All right. Second thing is that you go to this kind of crowded place, you get the infection, come back home, you have a grandparents living with you who are in their 70s and 80s, and they will be the first one. And it's well known that corona, when it attacks, coronavirus attacks, the older people are more susceptible to mortality. And in fact, the mortality that has taken place, overwhelming proportion is people above the age of 70. So therefore, that is a problem. Then they will come out, there will be chaos in the traffic because the traffic is all private. But how are they going to arrange it? Only the privileged students will be able to go. That means the poor student, the middle class student, the lower middle class student, they will not be able to go. What about floods in Assam? What about the floods in so many other places? And what about if it rains?
So, Dr. Swami, what do I make out then? Sir, what do I make out? Sir, you're saying the government does not know all this when the government decided to go to the Supreme Court and make all these assertions. The government has no clue about the reality on the ground?
Let me interrupt you on that. The Supreme Court did not, in its operative part, say anything more than this is a policy of the government and we will not normally interfere in the policy of making unless you can show bias, unless you can show arbitrariness, unless you can show unreasonableness, we don't intervene. So these are the things I did in the 2G spectrum can. It was a policy, but I showed that it was biased. It was unreasonable. The nation lost a lot of money. So then the courts intervened. Here the arguments, I don't know who represented the students. They didn't tell me anything about it. But this is what I have seen on my own accord, that the order only simply says we will not interfere in the policy. And yes, remarks can be made by judges, how long you're going to postpone examinations. But that is not part of the order. The operative part is this is policy and we will not interfere. Government today, without reference to the Supreme Court, can postpone it. I will say that then allegations.
But you know what, sir? Latest. Now,
Yes.
I'm very happy that you're saying this, Dr. Swami. I'm very happy that you're saying this clearly, that the government, despite the order of the Supreme Court, can go ahead and think in terms of postponing the exam. But this is what I'm hearing right now, Dr. Swami. What I'm hearing is that the government, in light of this campaign which has been mounted on India Ahead, and millions of students who are perhaps looking up to individuals like you, Dr. Swami, for help, the government is saying they are not going to cancel these exams. These exams scheduled for September 13, admit cards for Neet will be distributed shortly. So there is no question of any change. I'm asking you today, Dr. Swami, if the government says we won't change the date, what is it that Subramaniam Swami can do to help the cause of the students in India?
Well, I am come too late in the stage. If I had